It was a moonless night on the outskirts of the quaint, yet mysteriously unsettling village. The air was thick with tension, suffused with an unspoken dread that held the residents in a vice grip. Local folklore spoke of an ancient tomb deep within the nearby forest, where eerie rituals had once been performed. Tonight, however, something felt different, as if the boundary between the living and the dead was at its thinnest. A clandestine group, known only to themselves as the Order, had decided that this was the night to venture into the tomb. Dressed in black robes adorned with esoteric symbols, they made their way silently through the forest. Each step on the fallen leaves echoed like the beat of a death drum, sending shivers down their spines. The shadows of twisted trees seemed to watch them, shifting ever so slightly, as if whispering secrets to the void. At last, they reached the tomb's entrance, a gaping maw in the earth framed by stone pillars etched with runes. Even in the dark, the symbols seemed to glow with a sinister light. The leader of the Order, a man known only by the moniker Sovereign, held a rusted iron key in his gloved hand. With an air of gravitas, he inserted it into the lock, turning it until a muffled click reverberated like an omen. The heavy stone door creaked open, revealing an abyss of darkness that swallowed all light. A putrid smell wafted out, as if the very air inside was decayed. The group hesitated but couldn't turn back now. They had come too far. One by one, they descended a series of stone steps that seemed to lead them further into the bowels of the earth than they had anticipated. Their footsteps echoed in the confined space, each step amplifying their growing sense of dread. Ancient inscriptions lined the walls, their meanings lost to time. Yet, Sovereign couldn't shake off the feeling that these cryptic messages were warnings, imploring them to turn back. Finally, they reached the chamber where the ritual was to be performed. It was a circular room with an altar in the center, surrounded by unnerving statues that seemed almost lifelike. The room felt like a sanctum of forgotten gods, filled with malevolent energy. Sovereign stood before the altar, his face obscured by the hood of his cloak. He carefully arranged a series of artifacts on the cold stone surface, a dagger with an onyx hilt, a vial of crimson liquid, and an ancient scroll. One of the members, a woman named Cassandra, noticed something strange about the dagger. It seemed to pulse, as if alive, resonating with the ominous atmosphere of the chamber. It was as if the room itself hungered for the ritual to commence. Sovereign unrolled the ancient scroll, its parchment brittle and yellowed with age. He began to chant in a language that none but he understood, a guttural and archaic tongue that seemed to echo in the corners of the room. As he chanted, the symbols etched into the altar began to glow, emanating a sickly green light. The chamber vibrated with an energy that was palpable, making the air thick and heavy, as if resisting the incantation. Cassandra felt a chill run down her spine as she realized that the room's energy was converging towards the dagger on the altar. It was as if the chamber and the artifacts were uniting in some form of dark alchemy. The atmosphere in the chamber thickened as Sovereign's chant reached its zenith. The dark energy from the room surged towards the altar, swirling in a vortex around the dagger, which now glowed with a malevolent light. Cassandra glanced at the other cult members around her. Their faces were a mixture of awe and dread. Everyone seemed entranced, their gazes fixed on the dagger as if it had hypnotic power. Suddenly, Sovereign ceased his chanting. With a swift, decisive motion, he grabbed the dagger and plunged it into the vial of crimson liquid. The room quaked as if recoiling from the unholy union of the artifacts. The dagger absorbed the liquid, its blade shimmering as the elixir coursed through it. The object of their devotion was now transformed, radiating a dark, intoxicating energy that seemed to beguile everyone in the room. Sovereign lifted the transformed dagger, holding it aloft for all to see. "Behold, the key to our ascension," he proclaimed. The cult members responded with a unified chant, sealing their dark pact. The cult members formed a circle around Sovereign, who stood at the center with the transformed dagger. Each member offered their palm, and with surgical precision, he made a small incision with the blade, allowing a droplet of their blood to fall onto a parchment. The parchment absorbed the blood, each drop turning into a glowing rune. As the final drop touched the surface, the runes rearranged themselves to form an eldritch diagram. The room trembled as the diagram levitated, hovering in the air before igniting in a blaze of ghostly fire. Sovereign began reciting an incantation, older than time itself. The words were foreign, yet oddly familiar, as if they were tapping into a universal dark truth. As he spoke, the diagram rotated, aligning itself with the cosmic energies of the universe. With the final utterance of the incantation, the diagram exploded into a burst of shadowy mist, enveloping everyone within its reach. The world around them distorted, bending and twisting as they all felt a sudden jolt, like a hook pulling them from this reality into another. When the mist cleared, they found themselves in an alien dimension, surrounded by unimaginable horrors and inconceivable beauty. Sovereign looked around, his eyes filled with malevolent glee. "Welcome to our new beginning," he declared. The cult members, now denizens of this nightmarish realm, reveled in their newfound dark power.